Williamson. I love Marianne Williamson's book Illuminata. She talks about forgiveness. The vision of God's Spirit is the vision of innocence. It is not our job to forgive whom God has not condemned, but rather to remember that God condemns no one. God heals through forgiveness and asks that we do likewise. Attack is an easier response than forgiveness, and that's why we are so tempted to give in to it. Through our lives, we have seen more anger than examples of true forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean we suppress our anger. Forgiveness means that we have asked for a miracle, the ability to see through the mistakes that someone has made to the truth that lies in all of our hearts. None of this, I'm too spiritual to be angry. For among us, how many of us can truly say that? Rather, we should pray, I am angry, dear God, but I'm willing not to be. I'm willing to see this situation another way. Forgiveness is a process of giving up false for the true. It's erasing of a sin or erroneous thought processes from the mind. A sin, also known as an erroneous thought process, is forgiven or given up when you cease to consciously entertain error thoughts within your life. Because when you consciously entertain error thoughts within your life, guess what manifests? False evidence appearing real, which is also what? Fear. In the Course in Miracles, we're told that a miracle is actually a correction of a misthinking or misperception in our life. It's a correction of how we think or how we perceive. It is right thinking and aligning your perceptions with truth, that's capital T, as God created it. When you change your mind or your perception, you automatically will shift your behavior and ultimately your rate of vibration accordingly. Because remember, it's your thought patterns that determine how fast you vibrate. Is it just me or is it hot? It's hot. It's not just me. I'm going to let you check that. Okay, I thought I was just having a power surge up here. Thank you. Yeah, man, I hear you. Forgiveness is the correction for a hostile or angry thought or action, either against you or someone else. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is the home of miracles. Perception stands corrected in the eyes of the Christ, and what was meant to curse has come to bless. That's being able to look beyond the appearance, to be able to look beyond the illusion of what you think you're looking at and realize that's not what you're looking at all. Each lily of forgiveness offers the entire world the silent miracle of love. And each is laid before the Word of God upon the universal altar of the Creator and creation in the light of purity and endless joy. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness in and of itself is a miracle, for it contains the gift of grace, for it is given and received as one. Now, the process of shifting from your ego's perception of something or someone and seeing it and perceiving it through the Christ consciousness is forgiveness. So you can't allow the ego to rule you and say, you know what, this is what they did. You got to say, you know what, whatever. You may have the understanding that miracles and forgiveness are one and the same. Miracles, healing, atonement, forgiveness are just different words to describe the same basic process. There are different words that reflect different aspects of the same process. It's through forgiveness that true spiritual healing occurs, for forgiveness removes the errors of the mind, and subsequently bodily harmony results as a result of that. In his book, Love is Letting Go of Fear by Gerald Japonski, and that's a great book, he states, inner peace can be reached only when we practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is letting go of the past and is therefore the means for correcting our misperceptions, end quote. Now, I know that some of you are out there thinking, well, I can never forgive so-and-so for what they did to me. I'm not going to forgive them. Who are they? They stepped on my foot. They hurt my feelings. Blah, blah, blah. But you have to remember that statement is from the lower mind. The small ego is talking there. It wants to be in control, so the feelings of anger, hate, frustration loom large in your arena of perception. When you are unforgiving, the perception that you are some way winning is also present. But you have to stop and think for a minute. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? It's impossible to be unforgiving and happy at the same time. That's an incongruency. That doesn't work. Those two don't go together. You may think they do. See, that's what the ego has. Yeah, you can be unforgiving and happy at the same time. Yeah, go right ahead. Don't fall for that okie doke. It's impossible. It's a direct contraindication to our true nature. It's an incongruency. It's not your truth. Remember that the ego is a liar. It's a master of deception and a bender of truth. That's what the small ego does. That's what it does. It's doing its job. But it's up to you to keep it under check. Consider this for just a moment. When someone considers themselves a victim because of some sort of transgression that has been committed upon them, and they confidently declare that they will not and cannot forgive, and they choose to hold on to their anger, they're actually the losers in that situation. They're the losers in that situation. And this is why. You have to remember that we're living in a realm that's all energy. That's all this is. We're living in a realm of energy. I want you guys to understand that, because once you really grasp that concept, then you pay attention to what's coming out of your mouth, and you pay attention to what's coming out of your head. That's how we manifest on this plane of existence, because of the energy. As we think it, so it is. As we think it, it becomes a part of our experience. And so we speak of energy, we're talking about the vibrational rate of things. As metaphysicians, I know that you're well aware of the relationship between those two. If you cannot master forgiveness, the reality of that situation is the person who supposedly transgressed against you holds power over you, because you keep yourself vibrating at a slower rate because you're unforgiving. Well, I'm not going to forgive you. Fine, you're going to vibrate really slow. And they're going to keep going on about their business. You ever had an argument with somebody? You still be mad? They going about the business. They sleep good that night. You still mad. Same thing with this. You think someone's done something to you. You have to step it up. You have to step above that line. It's about personal choice. It's personal responsibility. Where's your power? Who are you giving your power to when you're angry?
The other person.
There you go. I don't have that much power to give to you. I'm not going to give you my power. I'm going to hold on to my power. I love you, but I don't love you that much. I'm holding on to my power. Functioning below the line, as long as you maintain that lower state of mind, which will block you from seeing through the illusion of the situation, because that's what it is. It's an illusion in your face. You know, the ego takes great pleasure, great pleasure, in keeping us below the line. Another one bites the dust. Loves it. Loves it. Can't give in to that. You know, as Marianne Williamson said, it's our power we're most afraid of. It's our power we're most afraid of. You have to remember that no deed of harm can come to you unless you give your power away. So again, I ask you to ask yourself, who are you giving your power to? Remember, those that push our buttons and make us crazy are our greatest teachers. They're our greatest teachers. And those transgressions are really lessons. They're lessons for us. And when these lessons manifest in our life and we act appropriately according to the universal laws of good, whether it's the law of action, law of attraction, laws of cause and effect, whatever, then our soul rises to a higher level. Point I'm trying to make, that if we can forgive another for the illusion that appears so intense, and we go within to master the lesson of that test, it allows us to progress on what? On the spiritual path. That's what's so important about forgiveness. It's not about somebody getting away with something.